Hey, love, give the people
All right.
your name and your pronouns.
Okay. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. So my name is Anastasia Esparza, and I go by she, hers, herses, and that's only hers.
Only hers.
Only hers.
Okay, and Anastasia, I got you. And how old are you, and where are you calling us from?
Okay. Well, I just turned 38 2 weeks ago. So I'm getting close to 40, which I feel 40, but I'm 38. Um, and I'm a Virgo. So I mean, you know how Virgos are. Virgos are very sweet, loving, caring.
What is your sexual orientation, love?
I am straight.
Okay, so how do you identify with the LGBTQ, if at all?
So I am trans. I am a trans woman. So I was assigned birth as male at first, and then I transitioned to female, which I feel like I've been a female since, I mean, since I was little. I never thought I was a male, I guess you could say. I remember, I remember when I was younger, it was like elementary, I think, and a lot of my girlfriends that I still talk to till this day, um, I would get so upset with the teacher because I would have to go to the restroom and stuff. And I would go to the girls' restroom and they'd be like, no, 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 wrong restroom. And I would cry because I didn't understand, like, why are you stopping me from going to the right restroom, you know? And,
Hmm.
and I lived in a very, 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 very small, like, little town. Like, I mean, it was so conservative that, being gay, lesbian, whatever, it was like the most horrid thing you could imagine. I had my good friend, which is she passed away in August of 2019. She committed suicide, and me and her moved together out of town so we can live our life and branch out and get ourselves together, I guess you could say. And so when she kind of passed, it kind of took a toll on me, because like I expected her to do something crazy, but not this crazy. And so when she did it, it was like I was shattered. I was like everywhere. I felt like I was like a zombie, I guess you could say, for a little bit. And I kept calling her phone and she wouldn't answer. And she always responds to me. And she finally answered and she was just like, "Hey, I'm at the hospital." I'm like, what do you mean? And she's like, "Well, this and that." And I was like, "Okay, well, I'm on my way." And I took off right away. So when I got there, the nurse was like, "Oh, well, she took a bunch of pain pills and she was knocked out in the restroom. And luckily her brother happened to visit and he knocked the door down and got her in time, you know?" So I kind of already knew she was suicidal, but it was like she kept telling me, "I promise I'm not gonna do this to you. I promise you I'm not gonna leave you here by yourself. I promise you," but. And that day I happened to get off of work and I kept calling her and she wouldn't answer. And then her nieces called me and they were just like, "We're on our way to Lubbock and we're gonna go da 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 da." And I'm like, "Well, what's going on? And what's really going on?" And they're just like, they just said my aunt just, and when she just told me, I just broke. I had just started a new job at a pharmacy. And so I literally had a mental breakdown and I lost that job. And be like, okay, like, and I know she's here spiritually with me. And I can tell her, like, "Hey, girl, like, you see what I'm going through." You know what I mean? Like, give me some kind of sign or give me some kind of whatever. And then, sure enough, within a few hours or the next day or so, like, it just hits me. And then I'm just like, "Oh, okay, I got you, girl. Like, I got you. I was coming back home to bring my mom back home to our hometown. And she had given me this real beautiful, like, iridescent rosary that she went and got in South Texas. And I kept telling her, like, give me a sign to let me know when you're with me, or at least when I'm traveling. And
Hmm.
that sparkle so bright. And I was telling my mom on the way over here, I was like, "Look, Mom." And she's like, "Do you see how shiny and bright it's shining?" And she's like, "Yeah." I was like, "I know she's here. Like, I know she's watching me." Sometimes that little sign could be like me running into her children, them coming up to me to hug me, and like talk to me for a little bit as much as they can because their biological dad doesn't really like them to be talking to me. But when I get to see them and stuff, like, kind of reconnects me, and it's like, okay, like, you're gonna be okay. So I'm just grateful that I still have them. If I can see them once in a blue moon. Yeah, I am the one to be the one, like, helping others before I put myself.
Why are you single?
The reason I'm single, well, one, I live in Texas, so Texas is kind of like taboo still a little bit.
Uh huh.
But majority of the time, I think the reason I'm single is because I'm very focused. Like, I'm focused in my job. I'm focused on my mom. Like I focus like just things I need to be in, not in control, but more organized with, you know?
And how long have you been single?
This is gonna be my third year being single.
How long has been your longest relationship thus far?
My longest relationship.
Yeah.
You ready for this one?
Yeah.
My longest relationship I was in was for 13 years.
Oh.
I had been with this my ex, whatever. I had been with him for so long, you know, like we were best friends first, and then little by little, it just happened. Like it was like clockwork. It just like hit so hard, and I was like, "Wait a minute, wait a minute, what's going on?" Like, wait a minute, like when did this happen? You know? So it was my best friend's brother, and I his sister went to school with me. She was like a year or two younger than me. And so then when he got out, well, moved over back over here to my hometown, my best friend was like, well, his name is Michael. So she would be like, well, Michael keeps asking for you. And when are you going to come over here? And blah, 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 blah. You know, and I happened to live like a half a block from my best friend's house at the time. So like I would get off of work and he would like come over here and come talk to my mom, and my mom would make him food, or he would wait for me to change clothes, and I
He,
was just like,
he knew a good woman when he seen one, honey. He was
I was,
the option, Anastasia.
girl, let me tell you, it was so funny. It was like clockwork, and I think that's why right now being single so hard for me, because I base everybody upon him.
Mm,
I fall in love with my best friend like I did before. And so now it's like guys are telling me like, well, you need to like think outside the box. And I'm just like,
there's not going to be another Michael.
oh yeah.
Yeah, there's not. And you have had the experience of falling in love with your best friend. And I'm sure your next love will be your best friend.
Oh
But
yeah.
it might not look the same. It might not look the same. Don't judge them people under Mike's standards. So why'd y'all break up? What happened?
Well, I met him before transition.
Mhm.
And my biggest fear was if I transitioned to the person I am today, my biggest fear was that he was going to leave me because I became female, you know? And then it turned around on me to where he left me for an actual girl. So sometimes I was just like thinking to myself, like, oh, I screwed up. Like, what the hell? Like, was I not thinking straight, or well, what could I have done better? You know, but yeah. And it was funny because, like, before, because I used to be a performer as well, because, you know, some trans girls start in drag performing, you know, and that's how I started first to figure out, like, who I was. You know, I would cry because I would like my friends would be like taking their like dragging their off, like taking off their bras and stuff, and I was like, "What are you doing?" Like, you know what I mean? Like, what's going? You know? And I was like, "I'm not taking my stuff off. Like, I go crazy." You know? And then I just started adding the puzzle. Like, it was just a puzzle for me. You know? I'm still a performer still to this day. I just don't perform as often that I want to anymore because my job is busy.
What do you do for work? What do you do for a living?
So I'm a senior pharmacy tech for a hospital.
What would your ideal partner look like?
Um, I don't think I have an ideal partner. I feel like, how can I say? I think because I pray about it a lot and I just tell God, you know what, send me somebody that's going to take care of me. You know, somebody that's going to be like opposite of me, but more like grounding me more, like being more like myself, you know, like making sure that I do stuff for myself first, you know, and then do stuff for them, you know, instead of just doing stuff for them first and putting them first, to put myself first.
You do need that. You do need that. With you being somebody who's so giving, you need somebody who's going to prioritize you.
Yeah.
I agree with that. Deal breakers.
A deal breaker for me, I guess because like I've gone from the bottom up, that I feel like I need somebody that's gonna try to be successful. Like I don't care like if they work at fast food, like I don't care, like that doesn't bother me as long as they're successful in it and there's like a branch they can move up, you know? But for me it's like as long as they work, I really don't care.
But do you have any appearance preferences for a guy?
Um well, that's funny that you said that because my all my coworkers and a bunch of my friends, they say I have a specific type or whatever. Like they gotta have like some kind of like thin facial hair or like a goatee kind of look, whatever. Like I don't know what it is, but it seems like every guy that I've talked to, they're just like, do you know that person looks like so and so, and that person look, and they're like, and I would laugh too because I told my coworker, he's like, he said you have a type, and he tells me every day that I work with him, and I'm like, stop, like, what are you talking about,
So what is type? What is this type?
Because it's weird because like I don't know what it is. It's just like the facial hair, like not so big. It's like gonna be super trimmed, and like just I don't know. It's just, they all look alike for some odd reason.
Are they are they cholo?
No, no.
Um, is there a specific race preference or complexion preference?
Not really. I really don't look like color specific, I guess. I just like someone that I can connect to. Um, like for an example, like the gentleman that I'm talking to right now, whatever, he's a registered nurse. He's a charge nurse actually. And like he has like slight facial hair. And the guy that works with me in the pharmacy, he almost looks identical to him, but he's Mexican and this one's white. And I'm just like, what am I gonna do? But it's like I'm more drawn into somebody that's gonna give me the attention. So I'm the one that like the call, the text, the going downstairs to go see me, like, things like that. That's what grabs my attention. Well, I'm 5'7", so they're a little bit about 6 foot, maybe a little bit less, but a little bit taller than me.
Okay, okay,
They've got muscles, but
okay,
they're
okay.
not, they're thick, but they're not like overly thick.
I got you.
The guy that works with me in the pharmacy, whatever, like he's so funny because he'll just like say my name real loud, and I'm just like, stop, like this to him, and he'll just look at me like this, like. And I'm like, no, you come here. No, you come here. And he'll go where I'm at, my desk. And he'll stand there for a good 20 minutes talking to me. And then I'm like, I didn't tell you you could leave. And he's like,
Ah! Would you consider yourself more dominant or submissive in relationships?
I- I'm probably more dominant because I'm more of structure. Like, we're going to do this, then we're going to do this, then we're going to do that. But it's just because
Yeah,
I'm a Virgo too. So
you
I'm
would
very,
like. Oh,
hmm
mm-hmm. Is physical intimacy important to you?
no.
It's not.
Mm-mm.
Are you monogamous or open to other things?
I'm open.
Okay.
And the only reason I say that now is because before I was just like, oh, I'm a girl, so I need to just look at a guy and a guy and a guy, and it was like more focused. Just I had to be with a man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like these last couple of years, whatever, within transitioning, whatever, like I met some trans men too, and I'm just like, ooh, like you know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
my focus goes to them, but it's more like I get a more connection with them too because they like understand what I'm going through physically. You know what I mean? So sometimes it's just like, oh, like I didn't know I would actually look at a trans man. Do you know what I mean?
And after falling in love with a transgender man,
Mm-hmm.
I I I don't see myself going back. I ain't gonna never say never, but I don't see it. If connection is important to you, the connection is different.
Yeah. And I couldn't tell either. And so we just started talking and goofing around and dancing and like, walking around. And then like before the night ended, he was just like, oh, my name was so and so. And I said, oh, it's nice to meet you, whatever. And he was just like, well, I'm a trans man. And I was like, oh, okay, well, that's fine. He was like, you okay with that? And I said, yeah. Like, he's like, and we just started talking little by little. And then I was just like, well, I'm a trans woman. He's like, this, shut the door. And I'm like, I'm for real. Like, I'm being honest with you.
A lot of the trans people I know, it's once they dated another trans person and it worked, they it's usually their preference.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a whole thing. It's called T for T.
Oh,
hmm hmm Um, what do you think about kids and marriage?
I don't think about marriage much. I don't think I want to get married. I really don't want to get married. But if it happens, I guess it just happens, I guess. But I always told my mom that once I get married, if I do get married, that I was gonna do like something big, like grand. You know what I mean? Because I told her I want her to have this perfect dress for her, and then I'm gonna have the perfect gown. And I was like, and I'm gonna spend money like crazy. I don't see it happening, but if it does happen, it just happens, I guess.
I think
Kids, yes, most definitely. I want children. I'm just very fortunate that I have my trans doctor that does all my stuff for me. And so I have, I think, maybe 2 years left, I think, and then to decide if I'm gonna have a child this coming year or next year. Um, I have been talking to my good friend that I worked with back in the day, and she's like hit me with like, you know how when somebody just slaps you in the face, you didn't realize something, and she was just like, you can have a kid and you'll be just fine. Like you don't have to have somebody to raise a kid with you. And I was like I didn't think of it that way. So
And it sounds like you still have family as well.
I do. I don't have any brothers, sisters. I am an only child.
Mm.
It's just me, myself, and then I have my mom, of course, which I'm here at her house. I have my mom, and I look just like my mom, and so I was truly blessed on that one. So I'm gonna knock on wood.
Ah, night in or night out?
mm, Both.
Okay. Okay.
I go dancing.
You like to dance? You
I
said
like to the let's go to the country bar, or let's go to a Tejano bar, or let's go. Like I'm the one that's like, oh, let's go. I'll be ready in 10 minutes. Let's go. Like you know what I mean?
okay. Do you know your love languages?
Um. Well, lately, yeah, I have. Years ago, I didn't know, but I'm more about like touch and more like
Mm.
feeling. I'm the one that like I like to make sure that if somebody's gonna be with me, whatever, they're gonna be next to me, or like if I feel like an anxiety attack's gonna happen or a panic attack's gonna happen, or I feel insecure somewhere, at least I know I can reach back and I can touch. You know what I mean? And I'll be okay. I do have anxiety and I do have panic attacks at some time points. Um, and as well as like I have a lot of since all that happened with my best friend and things like that, my mental state was like kind of off. I guess you could say, your mind kind of turns off when you're asleep. And for me, it doesn't. It's just going and it's going. And so I don't really sleep at night. And they're like, your anxiety pill, and I was like, yeah, it's in my bag all the time, and I don't take it. I take it with me everywhere.
Are you willing to relocate for love, or does the person have to live in Texas?
I think I could relocate. But of course, I tell my partner like, hey, understand, like my mom is my priority. Like, my mom comes first, and then I'm gonna tell them as well, like your parents come first too. I don't have a good relationship with my dad, so I really don't just like say, oh, well, both parents. It's more like, and my mom needs me to understand we gotta go. You know what I mean? And I would do the same thing for their parents.
What do you think would make you a great partner for your ideal guy?
For my ideal guy, um, probably more communication, understanding. I got to put myself in like their shoes and understand what they're going through as well. I just feel like, oh, you got to do this because of, like, I got to like put some walls down, and make sure I have a good communication with them as well. But like I said, like I'm very, very like family oriented, I guess. So it's like, it's more about family more.
I get the impression that you could bring family to a guy. You could bring family to your partner. That sense of family.
Most definitely. And I don't have a big family. Like my family's like very, very like small. Like I mean when I tell you small, it's like this small. My mom only had me and my uncle only had his son.
Tell the people how to get in touch with you, Anastasia.
Sure. And so on Facebook, I am under Anastasia Sparza, of course, and as well as Instagram. My I think it's my Twitter, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, my Twitter and of course my name, stage name, whatever. It still goes under my stage name, which is Lucky Raven.
And that is Anastasia Esparza,
Mm-hmm.
Anastasia
Mm-hmm.
underscore Esparza.
Yeah, that is correct. Yeah.
All right, all right, all right.